and I've done some shit that I should not have in the past. You're there to make money, not friends.
Okay.
You don't. I've got scars to prove it.
Oh my God. Tell us more.
Wow. Like I went to work in Italy one time and nearly got like sold to some guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It took me like 5 hours and my feet were bleeding to death. They said that he raped them and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
I can fully believe it as well because he was a pure creep. I actually got spiked on a photo shoot once when I was very young. The modelling work's like much worse, but I'll talk about that later. Desperate for money, I might just go and be a stripper for a few nights. I mean, you'd leave the club crying with no money.
Yeah.
Look, she kept saying I need a smear, I've got symptoms. They didn't give her one, and then by the time she did get one, it was too late, I guess. She said it's got me this time, you know. I'm gonna die. So I was going to the hospital for it took 7 years to get diagnosed. What was I doing? I was still doing like OnlyFans. Oh yeah.
I know this is a story. I'm like on the edge of my seat right now. Hello and welcome to Becoming Lucy with me, Hannah.
And me, Lucy. So today's episode is about a life that doesn't fit into neat boxes. It's about grief, it's about survival, it's about work that's misunderstood, and a love that grew in the most unexpected way, because some lies don't follow the normal plan, they follow the truth instead.
Yes, we're talking about chosen family, about stigma, and about what it means to keep going when life keeps asking more of you, and about a woman who has lived many lives, probably feeling judged and often misunderstood from within.
Jess is 38. She's a stripper by trade, but she's also independent. She's resilient. She's a daughter, a partner, a stepmom, and a friend who has loved and lost deeply. So, yeah, thank you for joining us, Jess.
Hello.
Well, before we dive into your very interesting story, I honestly cannot wait. I'm so excited. We want to find out how you guys know each other. So, Jess, can you tell us a little bit about how you and Lucy met?
Well, when did we actually first meet? Was it high
You
school?
were in high school, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. When we were like chaffing about drinking in the park, all that, you know, stuff that you used to do when you were like 14.
The best days. I loved all that stuff.
Yeah, we've been very good friends for a long time. We've been on holiday together as well.
Yeah, even family holidays with Angela and Martin.
When we went to Turkey.
Yeah, we've been on family holidays. We've been on Magaluf holidays.
Yeah, many
whole
of those.
different spectrum of
lots of adventures.
Yes, yeah,
and wild times.
Oh,
yeah, and we still go on holiday now. They've changed now since my leg. We went to Wales last time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It was quite chill, to be fair, wasn't it?
It was until Jess face planted
the pavement.
Tell us more.
That was one of my highlights, to be fair.
Well, I was trying to match Lucy with this guy that she took a liking to, and I was like, oh, and then we seen them after we'd left the bar, didn't we? So I started running to catch up with him so I could tell him to like speak to Lucy, but I ran a little bit too fast, and I didn't see a speed bump, and I went straight into it, straight on my face. Face planted the pavement, didn't I?
Yes, you did. You just see the legs go.
So fast as well.
And it's the fact the speed bump stopped her. It did it for purpose.
Well, I love that she, was fighting your cause and trying to get you hooked up. So well done, Jess. What a great friend.
I know. Still disabled and still me wing woman. I can't run. Jess will. Like I say, it's been God knows how many years now, hasn't it? Because
it's got to be 30 years. Probably.
Well, yeah,
20.
Yeah,
about
25
years.
Yeah, there's lots of stories in there. So, colourful life.
Oh, it has been.
And well, we'll start with your episode, Jess. Obviously, I know you grew up with your family. I know your dad became disabled when obviously you were a lot younger, and along with obviously your younger sisters as well. So I think we just want to start off like, how did that shape you as a youngster? You know, your independence and your sense of responsibility.
Oh, in the beginning? Well, I guess obviously being so young, and then my dad had a motorbike accident, didn't he, which left him mentally disabled. I kind of saw my mum struggle with that because he couldn't live with us anymore
Mm.
because he wasn't himself. He wasn't safe to be around me and my sister, the children, us. And it was very hard because at the time, obviously, she relied on him for financially and everything like that as well. So we struggled when we were little. We used to eat jam sandwiches and go. We used to always go to like my granddad's for dinner and stuff, and my great aunties all the time. And I used to wonder why, but I think it was because my mum was struggling with that financially, and since then, obviously, I've seen that, and I've always made sure that I'm always very independent and I don't rely on anybody else for things and stuff like that. And I think that's why.
Because how old
Um,
were you when your dad had the accident?
I was a little before 3, I think.
Wow, was he really
Yeah,
young?
really young.
I didn't
Yeah,
even realise it was that young.
I can totally resonate with the disabled parent though, Jess, because my mum's disabled, so it happened when I was a little bit older. Actually, I was 11, but the sense of wanting to be independent and kind of protecting yourself, I can totally resonate with that because you get thrown into this kind of really crazy, strange family that you weren't planning on, obviously. And again, at 3, you would have not kind of known much different, I suppose. But
yeah. Well, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really
yeah,
understand.
yeah, and I don't really remember anything before 11. I think I've maybe, I don't know, just blocked out in my head. All I remember is sort of 11 onwards. So yeah, I can totally resonate with that, and it's great because it makes you really resilient, but also you put boundaries up, and you know you're protective of yourself and things like that. So yeah, I can
Yeah,
totally imagine. And how old was your sister? Were you quite similar ages, or were you older, younger?
I was older, so she was only 1.5. She can't remember anything really, which is probably for the best.
Do you remember seeing your mum struggle, and do you remember what that looked like? Yeah. Can you tell us a bit
Yeah.
more about that?
um. Well, I mean, he when he was recovering, obviously because it was a brain injury. I don't know if you know any much about the brain injuries, but
Yeah, my mum's
people
got
get
one.
very violent and very violent and stuff like that. So, he was like forcing his way into the house and
Mm,
attacking us and things like that because he didn't understand himself,
mm.
why he couldn't be around us. So, but and I mean, obviously he's recovered to a certain level since then, but he's still very much, mentally disabled. But yeah, my mum was struggling. Like we used to have, we used to always wear hand-me-down clothes and stuff like that. But which obviously I won't mind. But people at school noticed and things
Mm.
like, "Oh, you're poor," and blah blah. We used to get bullied for it and stuff.
It's
But
weird, isn't it? Because I used to love hand-me-down clothes. Like, you just
oh,
get
I
them,
loved
like,
them.
getting, like, a big bin bag full of clothes
Like
from someone who's
retro
a
ones
few
as
years
That you
well.
can
older,
just have a
especially if
root
they were
through.
cooler, and you're like, "I've
Yeah.
got someone's,
Yeah.
like, Mickey Mouse top on."
Oh, it was always Mickey Mouse. Like, so my older cousin she lived in Manchester, and she was like 3 years older than me. She used to always have like Mickey Mouse clothes and stuff, and it was
Mm,
Mickey Mouse. So like my aunt used to drop a big bin bag off of like you say, and
yeah.
like just going through, and I'm like, oh, keep that one. I love that.
Yeah.
But now it's like cool, like, vintage and everything.
Oh,
People are
I
like,
love
oh,
it.
yeah. And I just wish
I always
that,
get secondhand stuff, me. I
yeah,
love it.
I wish that we didn't have that sort of type of, bullying in schools, though, that if you wore a hand-me-down piece of clothing, that automatically made you a target. And obviously, if, you're 3 and you're kind of growing up with that,
Yeah.
that's all primary school, that's secondary school. Like, how do you think that shaped you from like a confidence point of view? Did it knock you down? Did it build you up?
Well, at the time, like we lived in Mossley, and it's quite an affluent area in the town where we live. There's a lot of like money over that way. So I went to Mossley school, primary school, and obviously the kids there were all like pretty posh and all that. And then we were just like turning up in my mum's old little nail golf. It was like pick a gear and stuff like that. So we used to break down all the time. And then I'd be like, oh, look at you, we use scrubbers and all this. And I'm like, well, I mean, it didn't really used to bother me sometimes. Some of the stuff they used to say about my dad I didn't like, obviously.
Yeah.
And then when I got to secondary school, I just kind of switched it around, really. And the
Yeah,
rage came out a bit more.
yeah, the rage. It's mad because obviously we met in secondary school because you went to anyone who's from Congleton will know like obviously Westlands and it was that whole crossover, wasn't it? And then like the school obviously
Yeah,
merged and
yeah.
stuff like that. So we met like when you were about what would have been like year 9, year 10 kind of thing. So a lot older. So I'd never seen this side of Jess when she was younger. So
So
to
the
me, I've
hardcore
always
version.
seen like the confident Jess and you know, like the one, like I say, we met probably, in the park drinking. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of,
Yeah.
you know,
So
that
did
bolshy kind of side.
which I think fair play if you've gone through primary school and you've been bullied and you've been treated in a way. It's obviously you've got to a point where you're like, I'm not taking this anymore. Fuck you
Yeah, I
all.
just did. And then I
Yeah.
just started like fighting with people all the time and stuff. And that was that, really. And I didn't really care.
Mm.
And do
See,
you
I can't
think?
even remember the fights, but I can, but I
But you-
can't. Do you know what I mean?
Obviously, you
It
weren't
was
someone that
usually
was
with
on the receiving end. Then, Lise,
No.
that's really a good thing.
no, it was usually like lads, really, I think, most of the time.
Mm.
I can't really. Yeah.
And do you think that obviously when you went into secondary school and you sort of made that switch, you made that decision, do you think that when you did that, you were kind of looking after your younger self and thinking, I need to protect myself now going forward. I've had enough of this life where I'm seen as the girl that has the hand-me-downs. I'm in primary school. Did you think I'm just not having this anymore? And what has that been your life ever since then? Have you never gone back to that vulnerable state?
No, not really. Well, I mean, there's been times when I've been vulnerable and sad and whatever, but I just kind of like when that happens, I just distance myself from everybody and I'll get myself better and then carry on,
Mm.
I guess.
Well, it's like we're all human in the end of the day,
Mm.
aren't we? Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like we're all gonna have our ups and downs throughout life. But no, I can definitely say, but I've, like Jess is always the one that always, I wouldn't say mothers, but like as soon as I was like obviously with my accident, Jess was coming round. She made me like bone broth. She made me ginger shots. Like God knows what was in all this stuff, but I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
I was like, here are my witch concoctions.
Yeah. So
So
she's
it's
always
definitely-
still always thinking of others. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you've got that two sides, haven't you? You got like everyone does, like you say, that vulnerability. You've got this people saw Jess from the outside overly. Not saying overly confident, but obviously, I mean, we'll go into your work in a minute. I mean, I know you started stripping quite young, didn't you? I mean, you did
Well,
anything from
yeah.
pin-ups, the modelling, the car shows, that kind of early, I wouldn't say early 2000s scene because we were completely in school then, but kind of that mid-time where,
Yeah.
you know, I remember even coming to strip clubs to see you work. It was like, and it was part of our night out, you know?
Wait,
Yeah,
did you? Where was
tell
that
us-
in there?
tell us
It
about
was in
it.
Hanley, you know, when it was
Oh,
ST,
yes.
ST1.
Oh,
I
tell us about your
remember.
journey. Yes. So you started stripping down. Please, I want everything.
All right, so I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I left school, I went to college and got a like BTEC in beauty therapy or whatever. And I just kept getting these jobs and I fucking hated them, to be honest. So I was like getting fired left, right, and centre. And I'd always been a little bit interested in being a stripper, and I'm not sure why. Well, actually, I am because. So I used to stay when in the summer holidays. I used to stay at my granddad's house, and they had like we used to watch DVDs with my cousins and stuff. And one of them was like Striptease, you know, with Demi Moore in.
Yeah.
Such a good film. Anyway, so I seen that and I was like, wow, she looks beautiful, you know, and you know, I was just like fangirling over her. And then so I just kind of thought about it. I didn't even know anyone else that was doing it though at the time. So I was 18. I'd just been sacked from my latest job. I think it was like telesales or something. I don't know. And I went, my mum was like, oh, what are you going to do? Like, you keep getting sacked from all these jobs and you need to start like paying some board and some rent and stuff. And I seen my arse and I was like, oh, right, okay. I was like, right, I'll get you some money. So I marched into the local city bar, which was in Old Tringham at the time, the closest one. It was called Totties. And I went in and I was like, can I have a job? And they were like, yeah, sure, you've got to do an audition first. Right. So basically I was sitting in there and I was just, one of the dancers had to like do a lap dance for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to do one for her. And then she was like, so I knew what it was and whatever.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, yeah, you're hired. And I was like, oh, sweet.
Easiest job application I've had.
Yeah, that was it.
And
So I was like, can I work?
Could you dance though, Jess? Like, was it something that you were just like winging, or did you know that you had a bit of rhythm? Like, were you confident about your body at that time? Like, was it just
No,
like
not
my mum's
really.
told me to pay rent? I'm a little bit interested in the stripping. I'm just going to go and give it a go.
Yeah, literally just that.
Amazing.
I mean, it's not really hard anyway. Lap dancing's not. It's just like you move slowly and just, put your boobs in the face and stuff.
Jess, you need to see me lap dance. I do not look like that. I look like a fucking elephant that's going to fall over. That is the most unsexy person in the world. Like, yeah, I would need to actually have some lessons if I was to do anything like that. That's why I was interested to know if you had like...
You say that, but I was watching, again, a reel the other day on social media, and it's a bit like whatever the gen whatever is underneath us, like they don't know what we did as millennials. You know what I mean? Like we were trained for this kind of stuff. We had the like 6-inch heels like constantly on. We were like in the club. We were dancing all night anyway. If that was on a podium, like slut dropping, grinding.
Slut dropping.
Do you know what I mean? Like all this kind of stuff. It was kind of embedded.
The sexy dancing we used to always do together. Actually, to be fair,
we may have done it. You two would have looked amazing at it, and I would have done that, but I still would have looked fucking horrendous. You can ask my friends, honestly. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like the millennial days of the short skirts, the clubs, the dancing all night, the just being awake, alive, clubbing, wearing no coat, standing outside in the freezing cold. Like, yeah, we didn't care. We just wanted to go and dance to noughties R&B, and literally act like we're the sexiest girls in the world. And I'm sure you two would have absolutely pulled that off.
Yeah, well, Jess definitely had. I look back at some pictures now, and like because it's all cringe though, is it? You got no eyebrows, you got blue fucking like
blue glittery eyeshadow,
and the
foundation all over your lips.
Yeah, and the line on your jawline where it's like orange.
And the slag line.
line. And obviously the outfits that just weren't flattering, like, at all. Like, I remember...
like the round belts with the round...
Yes, yeah. And the halter neck tops and, like they said, the tiny skirts. I didn't mind wearing tiny skirts, but, like, the belly tops where I definitely shouldn't have maybe had my little belly out. I should maybe have tucked that away. But, yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
But
anyway...
the best times, though, weren't
they? They were. And limited footage. Do you know what I mean?
I was always the girl with the camera though, wasn't I, Jess? Like,
yes, you were. You used to get the worst pictures I've ever seen.
It's like you have been tagged in 113 photos.
I know. Well, I've deleted my Facebook, so you can't. Every memory, it's like, oh look, and I'm like, fuck. I don't mind. They were good times. Good memories, good times.
They were very good times, actually. Yeah, very fond of those times back in the day. But let's take you back in the day. You did the audition.
Right. So I did my audition. I got my job, and I worked that night, the very night, because I was like, "Oh, can I work tonight?" You were like, "Yeah, straight away." So I was like, "Sweet." So I was dancing all night, and I had to dance for the boss called Roy that owned the club. He was really nice, and we'll go back to that later. Well, actually, no, I'll just tell you now. So I worked in there for a while when I was first dancing. And then I went back a few times, like, over the years. And then just recently, when I was living... I got banned from driving, so I had to go... I was living in Cheadle-Hulme, and so it was just like a 15-minute taxi to the club. So I started going back there, and unfortunately Roy had died, and it was his son that was running the club. And I was like, oh, how lovely. And his son and his daughter, so Jonathan and Lucy, I think she's called. Yeah, they were running it after that, but it's since been shut down. But yeah, that was really nice. And they were like, oh, you're new. And I was like, I'm actually not really.
I'm old school, baby.
Yeah, I'm an OG.
The furniture, mate.
Were you nervous, though, that first night? Obviously,
Oh,
18-year-old, obviously, I would love the confidence of my 18-year-old self. Even at the time, I felt like I wasn't confident when I think about it now. But like you, 18, got given the job. Like, yeah, how were you feeling when they said we'll come back at 9 o'clock with some clothes on or off? I don't know what they would have said to
I
you.
was terrified. So I already had clothes anyway, and I was just like, oh. And they were like, yeah, you can stay and work. So I was like, oh, fuck it, I will. So I did. And then I went home later on, and I think they shut at like 1 o'clock or something then. And my mum was like, where have you been? And I was like, guess what? I've got you. I was such a little dick. I was like, guess what? Here's your rent. And she was like, well, where have you got that from? And I was like, well, I'm a stripper now. And that was that. She was excited at first, but then she was like, oh, because she thought it was just a phase.
Mm.
And then obviously, she was like, well, you need to look at something else, but I've done everything I've said I was going to do anyway.
Mm.
So yeah,
And here she
I
is
was like,
now.
watch mum, I'll have a house of my own by the time I'm 25, and I'll do this, that, and the other, and I have. So she
And
can't really.
and I think that's amazing. I think obviously there is stigma attached to stripping, and this is why
Oh
it's
yeah, of
so
course.
interesting to talk to you today, Jess, because you just set yourself a goal. You wanted to get your house at 25 years old. I didn't have a fucking house at 25 years old. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that it's brilliant that you had almost that little dream of being a stripper, and you can call it that. You watched striptease, you saw Demi Moore, and you were like, I want a bit of that. You did it. You went and you achieved your, you went into that strip club, bullshit, and was like, I want a job. You auditioned, you got it, and it's still your career now. And I think that's a really amazing achievement. And to stand and be proud and be like, I'm a stripper. And I'm so interested in you about that, and obviously when you're in the club, and you said to your mum and she sort of was excited, you said, which I think is really lovely as well, that she didn't sort of, people have got kicked out of their house, I assume, for being, in that kind of
Yeah, man.
industry. It's so nice that she was supportive.
Yeah, she has. She always has been. She's always supported me, to be fair. Even like, I mean, I am difficult and I am a nightmare. Like, I'm very erratic. She obviously worries sick about me all the time, to be fair. And I've done some shit that I should not have in the past. So she's going to be worried, but she's always been very supportive. She's always been very loving, and I love her to pieces for that.
Oh, so
So,
nice.
yeah.
But no, I think like a lot of people forget. I know you said earlier it's just about rubbing your tits in the face and doing a lap dance, but stripping back then, I mean, I know we spoke about doing like pole dancing again and stuff like that, but it's far more performance based then, wasn't it? You've got your pole skill, you've got the stage present, you obviously got your personality as well
Yeah.
because you're in the bars all night. And now, like 2025 is very different, isn't it? It's more digital, it's more, visible as well,
Yeah.
that you can click on things. You've got
Mm.
platforms, as everybody knows, like
Mm.
OnlyFans, for example. So how do you think it's changed for the worse? Do you change for the better? Because obviously I know, well, just by going around town and stuff, you don't, as you mentioned before, the titty bars aren't as popular. They're not running as much, are they? Like they did back in like 20 years ago. Or do you think it's
Yeah, I
different?
mean, people don't really want them anymore. There's a
Mm.
lot of prejudice towards them, more so now than it used to be. And the councils are like, oh, we don't want this in it. Like, I've seen
Right.
so many of them get closed down, like, all the time. Like, ones that I used to work at and stuff like that, like local ones, which were, like, handy for me when I was living in Congleton in Cheshire. Like, there used to be one in Wilmslow, there was two in Stoke, there was one in Altrincham, obviously, but they're all gone now. They've all been closed down by the licensing. Well, the council have shut them all
Yeah.
down, basically. And it's people that are going and complaining about it. It's like, it doesn't really affect your life as such, but you still feel the need to meddle about this for no
Yeah.
reason at all, because there's something they don't understand. And a lot of people, there's a lot of people that go into clubs for, like, just for late night drink, stuff like that, and they just enjoy a conversation with the dancers. I'd say probably 5 times out of 10, a lot of guys that I speak to and see in the club, they're not there for dances or the nudity. They're there for the company and the chat, and it's just not how it's made out to be. And then there are some where they've been mismanaged and they've let a lot of too many riffraff in and stuff like that, and it's been fights all the time. And because they're late opening it, I mean, that's obviously why they get closed down and stuff. But yeah, there is a lot of prejudice towards it. There always has been and always will be, I think.
Yeah. And do you think, obviously, from that kind of 5 out of 10 sort of stat that you gave, do you prefer to just have the conversation, get some money, move on, or do you miss the dancing element of it? Would you prefer to do a lap dance?
It depends what the guy's got to talk about. I mean, some guys are really nice, and I've got some. I'm very lucky to have some really good regulars where I
I was going
work
to ask
up
about that.
north. And they just they come and see me, and then we sit and we get along and we have a nice chat and what have you. But like, obviously, some guys are hard work, I'll say. Annoying. But I can usually like avoid them unless it's a dead night, and then obviously I'll be like, oh yeah, we'll go for a dance. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's easier just to dance and then
Yeah.
leave rather than
Yeah.
having to sit with them for a long time.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the guy. It's very it's emotionally and mentally draining job,
Yeah.
to be fair. It's
know.
not even that physically draining, it's more your head,
Yeah. I can imagine
which
that,
people
though.
don't realise.
And is there like that sense of community as well from the girls? Like, I think that you're going to find, like, I mean, do you not? Do you find, are your best mates there? Are you sort of all a little bit bitchy about each other? Like, is there a community sense now?
The club where I work at the moment, yeah, it's lovely. The girls are all really nice, we all get along. But at most clubs, it's you're there to make money, not friends.
Okay.
So you don't. I've got scars to prove it.
Oh my God. Tell us more. Tell us more, Jess.
Yeah. I mean, some places, not everybody's friendly everywhere, are they? I guess. And we don't have to be friendly to each other, but I think it helps when there's a nice working environment. You can help each other out and stuff like that. But, there's a lot of places where it's very aggressive and, you've got to go and get in with the customer before someone else does. And if someone else does, you've got to get rid of her. Or if they're not going to dance with you, then they don't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm good at cooperating, but I'm also good at not cooperating if they don't want to. Just depends
Yeah.
what kind of person it is, and I think it depends on the girls, really.
And you were saying this is going to be about a 5-hour episode. Honestly, I'm sorry. Because I've been to strip clubs myself. I've gone with like ex-partners and this, that, and the other, and I think they're fascinating places. And I genuinely look at girls like yourself, and I'm envious of that confidence. How you can dance, how you can look so sexy, and how obviously you've got all these men putty in your hands. And like, for a normal like girl who was like 20, 18, 19, whatever age I was going there, I did feel a bit, sort of unconfident, if that makes sense. And I was like, God, I wish I could have that like power that you've got over the men in that club,
It's not really, because a lot of guys in there, they're not nice to us. They're not putting in our hands. They don't want to pay you. You have to really sit with them and persuade them. A lot, like, you'll get guys that'll come in like, why would I have a dance? And I'm like, why are you here? And they just, like, some guys just come in just so they can be mean to you.
Oh my God.
It's not like as glamorous as it looks. You really have to sort of persuade them to spend any decent money. And there's nights in work as well. And like, we all appear confident and thingy, but you can head into work and you can leave with nothing.
Wow.
So we have to pay the clubs to work in them. So immediately, as soon as you get there, you already owe the club this much. And then you've got to make that, and then you've got to make your own wages. And if you're not feeling quite right in yourself as well, it's like they pick up on it, on your energy. I know that sounds weird, but they do pick up on it, and then they'll all be like, oh no, I don't want to dance, and then you're walking around asking everybody all night. So it's not like how you say, oh, the girls were all dead confident and they've got guys put you in the hands. It's not like that at all.
That's really interesting, though. And after 38 years, well, I wasn't going there when I was a baby, obviously, but you know what I mean? After, a big chunk of my adult life, to hear that from someone who does that as a job, like, that's eye-opening to me, because like I said, as a woman going in there, I just looked at you all and I just thought, like, God, you look amazing. So to hear that actually that isn't the case, and that you've got to fucking graft and you've got to work your literal arse off.
Yeah.
to get money. And is it harder nowadays? Like obviously Luce was alluding to the fact that there's a lot of stuff online, OnlyFans, you know, digital platforms.
Yeah. I mean, the clubs for sure, they're like super quiet now. Like, oh, they'll get busy, but the guys just don't really. They're like, oh, I can get a brass for like the same price as this dance. And I'm like, well, why are you here then? Go and get one. You know,
What's
I've
the
got nothing
brass?
against that either.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
oh,
going to ask that.
sorry.
I thought it might be a
like a
Cheshire thing.
prostitute or like a prostitute.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay.
So there's like websites you can get them off and stuff. And
Right. Yeah.
apparently, well, I've had a fake profile of me made on one of those said websites before, and I had loads of guys ringing me up, and I was like, "What's this?" They're like, "I want to book you for a photo shoot," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, "Can we fuck?" And I was like, "Oh no." And then I said, "How did you get this number, by the way?" And they were like, "Oh, it was on it's this website called something Street. It was called."
Right.
Anyway, so somebody had gone on, it must have been someone that knew me that had a number that had made this profile store.
Yeah. And to put your number on there as well. It's not like they're even pretending for you to get people to turn up to then get money.
That's what I mean.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
they
just
knew
They've done it
you.
maliciously so that I'd end up, you know,
Yeah.
with trouble. So
That and that's
I mean, there's that side of things as well as like stuff like that happens all the time.
and is that because people are envious of you? Do you
I have
think?
absolutely no idea why they do it. There's no reason
Doesn't
for it
make sense,
whatsoever.
does it?
It happened more when I started doing modelling work, to be fair.
Yeah.
That was a whole awful well, I mean, some of it was good, but yeah, not a good industry, really.
So you're out of that complete. Then you're just in the stripper industry. You've not carried on. Okay.
I'm just stripping now still.
And why do you think that you have been able to sort of sustain this career then, obviously with clubs closing and obviously it not really being as sort of popular, so to speak, nowadays than it was? What is it about you, do you think, that you've still got a job, you're still smashing it? What, you know, why do you think that is?
I don't really know, to be honest. I just kind of, so I've been doing it a long time. I've worked all over the world.
Yeah. I get
Um,
phone calls off Jess. She's like, I'm in Spain here. I'm
I'm like,
Wow.
surprised. Yeah, well,
Hola.
some of it's good, some of it's bad. Like I went to work in Italy one time and nearly got like sold to some guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I
Like
was
human
like,
trafficking sold or like
well, like they were. I was in the club, so and they take like so when you get there. I mean, we got the club picks us up from the airport. They provide you accommodation, and then they pick you up from the accommodation, take you to the club to work, and then you go home, and they take you home afterwards, right? And I should have really kind of known then that it was like a bit, you know,
Yeah.
dodgy. But I was young and I was like 21 or something. So I went there and yeah, I was like, oh, this is nice. But the the customers in the club didn't really like me because I was British, and they kept like paying me off. Anyway, so this particular club had these like little VIP huts on the beach. So if you sell a VIP, it's like half an hour's worth of time of dancing and drinks and stuff. So anyway, so goes outside with this guy, and I was like, oh, really happy that I'd, you know, sold. It was half an hour. The guy seemed all right, and I'm very lucky that he was nice, to be fair. Yeah, so he goes in outside, and then my boss came and got me, and he put us in a hut further down the beach with no lights in it or anything. And he was like, you stay here, you do. And said basically I had to have sex with the guy if he wanted to.
what?
Wow.
And I was like, that's coming from the boss. And I was like, oh, fuck, man. So yeah, I was shitting my pants. And then luckily the guy was not a fucking rapist. And I was like, oh, have a shoulder massage. You know, I'll have one. And then I was like, oh, look, time's up now. And then we went back into the club and I was like, shit, man.
So you
I was like, this is
literally
bad.
escaped that then because he was a nice client.
Yeah, legit.
Wow.
Otherwise, he could have done anything he wanted, and I would have had to just take it, I guess.
Wow.
Literally. So in the club, I was like, shit, man, I need to get out of here. So and they won't pay you until you've done 2 weeks work in the club, and obviously no one know why. So I was like, how am I gonna how am I going to get out of this? So I ripped my outfit, and then I was like, oh no, look, I need some money. I need to get paid out because, and they're like, oh, we can't pay you out. I was like, well, I've got nothing to wear for work. And he was like, borrow something off one of the other girls. And I was like, no, because it won't fit. Anyway, they did pay me out. And then I went back, we got dropped back off at the house later. And I was like, right, I'm going. It was the middle of the night. And the other girls there, like, I think they were Eastern European. I don't know where, I think Romania, some of them, and Hungary. And I was like, are you coming? And they were like, oh, no, we're going to stay and whatever. And I was like, right, bye then. So I ran off like in the I was like,
Wow.
I'll just walk to the train station. And it took me like 5 hours and my feet were bleeding to death. I went in this field like on the way and it was like full of spiky shit as well. I remember that.
Oh my
But then
God.
anyway, so when I got to the train station, I just went travelling around Italy instead.
So you
Yeah, it was
literally
so
nearly
cool.
got sold, and then you thought, fuck it, I might as well stay in Italy and travel. Was
Well, I might as well see something good, you know?
This is how me and Jess are friends. Always a positive spin. Well, come all the way
were you like terrified they were going to find you?
No, they wouldn't have come after me like that, I don't think, anyway. Like, what are they going to do? I'm not contracted to them in any way or anything like that. I don't think they were, like, actual human traffickers. They were just trying to, like, make me do that in the club. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and
but yeah, it's like, that was a bit of a wake-up call for me when I was, like, 21. So, but I had a good time after. Like, I went to Pisa. Where did we go? Pisa, Rome, Venice, and Milan.
There you go.
I just used to get on the train in the morning and then like I'd book like a hostel for the night time and then just do a bit. Yeah, it was cool.
I
Amazing.
just love the positive spin.
Well, it's got to be, otherwise it's
Oh,
not worth it, is it?
100%. But one thing I want to touch on as well, because I think we kind of mentioned it a little bit, is like ego kind of thing. Not like ego as in big ego, but like Hannah says, like all these women, you think that they're confident, that they're sexy, but you go around the club, you could earn no money one night. You know what I mean? You're in a foreign country, the locals are not taking to you. Like that must take a hit. Like I take a hit on modern day dating apps because someone's ghosted me, or do you know what I mean? And you think you automatically always bring it back to yourself. Like, what is it about me? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, but I feel like if I felt like that in clubs before and I'm like, oh, maybe it's because I'm like wearing this or wearing that. But you know what? It's not.
Mm.
It's not you. They do pick up on your energy in the club. Like if there's something wrong with me, it's like the guys know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even though they don't know, but like they'll just act. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to dance."
Yeah, you're giving
So it's just
something
you
off,
just have
aren't
to go
you?
in and just be like, you just have to just go in and don't give a fuck.
well, that's obviously like learnt though as well, isn't it? Though, because like from the age of
Yeah, because
18,
I see some younger girls and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong? It's been shit," and I'm like, "Listen, you've still got 2 hours left.
Mm.
You know, you can still make £1,000 in those 2 hours.
But
You
I'm in
just
the
need
wrong
to get,
job. Maybe I
you just
won't
need
look
to
like
get
an
one
elephant.
guy." Yeah, you just need to get one guy and get him to put you for a VIP till the end. You'll be fine. It takes only one person. I said, don't worry. Like, just take 5 minutes, have a little break, get a shot, and then go back.
That's nice that you're able to offer that support though, because you've done it for so long and other girls are sort of looking up to you, even if you don't sort of get on with the group of them.
Well,
There are.
I don't know if they do look up to me, but if they
It's
start
that.
whinging, I'll just chime in and then I'll go. I'm like, just do this, and then whether they like it or not.
Well, I think they definitely appreciate that you are trying to give them some confidence to go back out there and whatnot. So I do think that's a good thing. I was just going to obviously touch upon when you were talking about the incident in Italy, and that was incredibly frightening. Even though you went travelling after, which is amazing. You know, that's a pure inspiration there. If you're in a tricky situation, just definitely just find the best of it.
Yeah, just run away and go traveling.
But obviously within the job that you do, there are other elements of sort of safety that's been of not how it should be for you, right? And obviously there's been a period where you were spiked at the club. Is that right? Can you tell us about that?
Oh yeah, I mean that's happened. It's happened a few times, to be fair.
Mental.
Um,
Like Jess will ring me. I'm like, "How you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I just got a spike last night. I don't feel very well." This is how
Wow.
it gets brushed off. Do you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know why I'm laughing about this. Yeah, I think lately it's become more of a problem. Like
Mm.
back in the day, back in the day when I was younger, when when I first started out, like you didn't really hear of it. That didn't
Mm.
really happen like much. I actually got spiked on a photo shoot once when I was very young.
Right.
The modelling works like much worse, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, not in the club, but just recently in the clubs, there's been a lot of like I think there's a new trend of people taking ketamine recreationally
Yeah.
Right.
at the minute. And I think that's where it stemmed from because I've twice been spiked with that in the club. Whether it's been knowingly or not, or, someone might have made a mistake, could have drank the wrong drink maybe, but I am pretty careful. Or one of the girls might have done it to sabotage me. I don't know.
Really? So that's
Yeah,
that's what you think
perhaps.
it could be?
It could be that.
Yeah, but when you think about it, like when we were saying back in the day, when we were younger, you didn't really hear a spiking like you do now. Do you know what I
No,
mean? There's
that's what
so
I
much
mean.
more
It's
to put on
not.
bottle
Wi
tops, like, and it's not just in stripping; it's in hospitality. It's just in a normal
Yeah.
nightclub. It's in
Yeah.
festivals.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not just
Me
stigma
and
it's
my
wise,
bad.
is
It's
it?
friends
really bad.
used to mine sweep in a club. You know, when you
Yeah,
run out of money, you'd
and
go
you
around and
ingest
you'd
it.
get, it's so disgusting. You'd get drinks off tables and just start necking them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've all been there, eh? And but I would never dream of doing that now. It just wouldn't be.
No.
You definitely, if you mind sweep now, you
Oh,
definitely end up absolutely fucking destroyed of
100%.
something.
100%. So you're sort of working away, you're in the club, you have been spiked a few times, and it could actually be by one of your fellow dancers. Like, is there any moment within your career that you thought, this is it, I've had enough now?
Like every week. No, loads of times I've just been like, oh, I need a break. It does wear you out. And when you start to get worn out, you start to get stale and then you
Mm,
start not making much money. And I do get like that sometimes. I used to just go abroad. Like when I was younger, I used to save my money and just go traveling abroad, didn't I?
Mm,
But obviously now I've invested money in property and then that's kind of what I've been doing with it
mm.
since.
amazing.
Now I've just moved to Wales with my partner and bought a house here and we just like ripped it all out and redone it. So
No,
yeah.
amazing. You've definitely been gaining financially from your career, which is fantastic. And the fact that you've just said you're renovating a house in Wales, you know, that's what you're investing your money into. Your first house at 25. I think, yeah, just crack on. It sounds like you've got a really supportive partner as well, which we're definitely wanting to move on to shortly.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you can carry on doing the career that you love, even with its dodgy parts, but every career's got dodgy parts, right? Do you know what I mean? Even if you're sitting in an office, there's dodgy parts about that. But it's been really insightful to like learn sort of the stripping world for sure.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, you talked about your partner moving to Wales, and there is someone that we want to bring up actually as we move into this kind of part of the story. So yeah, Luce, I know you know a little bit about it already, don't you?
Yeah, so a friend of both of ours, but one of your best friends is obviously Maxine.
Oh,
Um,
Wesley.
and I mean, I know how you met. And I mean, that was through, well, obviously growing up, but she did work as well, didn't she? With you for a bit.
Yeah. So obviously I knew her like when we were younger anyway, from school and stuff. But yeah, she just kind of rang me up out of the blue one day and was like, "I wanna be a stripper." I was like, all right, well, I'll take you then. And yeah, and she came to work with me all the time and she was really good. It was like natural to her. She always had like that sort of sexy aura about her, didn't she?
Yeah,
And
she stood out. She was like naturally
yeah,
ginger as well. You know, when someone's naturally
Oh,
nice,
nice,
like
like
you know
big
that
red
kind.
like
hair.
she was a
Yeah,
beautiful redhead. Yeah, she was gorgeous.
yeah. I mean, is there
Uh,
anything that still makes you smile when you think about Maxine as well? Like,
Everything really.
Aw.
Think about some of the weird shit we used to do. Like Jesus Christ.
No,
It's
you were
like,
definitely thick as thieves, shall I say? Obviously having each other's back there, and I know you were really good friends, and unfortunately Maxine is not with us anymore, and that stemmed from her. It was cervical cancer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
cervical cancer. And obviously, she was going for a smear test. She kept pushing for it. They were like, "No, you're too young," and just kept getting
Yeah, well, she
dismissed.
had symptoms and like she kept saying, I need a smear, I've got symptoms. They didn't give her one. And then by the time she did get one, it was too late, I guess.
It's just heartbreaking, isn't it, when Maxine obviously is speaking very highly of her. I'm already picturing this like fiery redhead lady, and obviously to be friends with you two, she must have had some personality about her and some spark to be able to keep up. So
She was a she
it
was a whirlwind.
and the fact that she, like Lou said, she was pushing, and then you just said, Jess, it was too late. It just is so heartbreaking that she has lost her life because she wasn't able to get the sort of medical treatment she needed. And talk us through that period then when everything was happening. And she has 2 children. She left 2 children behind. Is that right?
Yeah, and she's got George is 11 and Mia's 10.
Wow. Because how old was Maxine when she passed then? She was
She was
literally,
33.
yeah, she's really
33.
young. And how long did she, like, well, I don't like saying the word suffer, but do you know what I mean?
So
No.
she had it for like, she got diagnosed and then she was given, she had the chemo and whatever, and then she was sort of given the all clear. And then I just remember her ringing me, and I was in Carlisle, and she'd already said that she had some suspicions that it was coming back or whatever. And I was like, I was pretty worried anyway at the time, but I was just grafting away, and I was in this little dive fucking B&B actually at the time with this weird girl I didn't really know. And then I was like, oh, and she rang me up out of the blue, and I knew what she was gonna say, and she just said, oh, she said it's got me this time, I'm gonna die. Ugh.
Oh, it's all right. Don't worry.
Let it out. Let it
Anyway,
out.
Yeah. You're
so
making me go now.
she was like, don't tell anyone. I was like, okay. So obviously I goes into work and I'm like, oh, like this fucking horrible bender being nasty to everyone, and everyone's like, why are you being such a bitch? Anyway, so from then I was like, right, I'll get on to fundraising, what I do best. So I made a little GoFund and started raising money, for it. And everybody at work knew her anyway because she used to work there.
Yeah.
And they were like piling cash in every night, and all the customers were like thingy. So it did okay. And I managed to raise enough for the kids to have a little savings and a wedding and a funeral for her.
That's
Um,
incredible.
so then obviously, and then Mike was looking after her, and then I just helped Mike look after her, and it was me and Mike looking after her till the end, really. Obviously, then COVID hit,
Yeah.
which was annoying
Mm-hmm.
because they were like, "Oh, you can't drive around," and I was like, "Well," so I had applied to be like an official sort of carer thing,
Mm-hmm.
so I could just go up there. So I just used to go up there every day. I used to take them up there, and we used to clean and stuff, and I just used to pick the kids up from school and just help Mike really because he was looking after her full time.
And obviously, when you were doing that, you were caring for one of your best friends, growing closer to the family, raising funds, which is just an incredible thing to do. And obviously, over time, she passed. And during all of this, you and Mike grew closer, right?
Oh, yeah, so on a deathbed, she was like, "You need to get with Mike when I die." And I was like, "What?"
Oh, she said that.
Yeah, she gave a blessing
Yeah,
in the
Oh,
most
I
Maxine
love
way.
that.
me and
Yeah.
Max were very close. We had a very unique relationship. She was like, "Yeah, you should, because he needs a good woman, and I don't want anyone else to have him." And I was like, "Mate, I'm all right, but I'll always look after him."
All
Anyway,
right.
she said the same thing.
Thanks, but
She
no
said the
thanks.
same. She said the same thing to him, and he was like, he was like, "Fuck that crazy bitch." So yeah, so we were just like bros, to be fair.
Yeah.
And the whole time we were looking after her, and I was like, right, well, and then when she passed, I went into sort of quite a dark place at the time, and I'd broken up with the guy that I was with while I was looking after her because he just wasn't treating me very well. And he was harassing me as well at the time for a long time. And that didn't add to things. you know, and I just sort of became a bit of a recluse. And because the clubs weren't open, I was doing online work, which was like not nice, and it was messing with my head as well.
Mm.
But I just found myself sitting in at home a lot on my own. I'd be drinking, but I'd push people away. I wouldn't even really like. I bet you'd never really heard from me, did you, Luz?
No,
Much
like I
during
say,
that time, nobody
no,
did. I
no.
didn't. And but the only person I could like just sit and spend time with was Mike, really. So we used to just turn up at his house because he lived in Cheadle at the time and I was in Congleton. We used to turn up at his house and terrorise him. I'd be like, oh, let's play poker or whatever. So we'd like sit and play poker and chat and whatever, like all the time. And I'd get him out and take him for walks and stuff, and we go hiking or drinking or whatever. And then after a while, after it was about a year, really, I think. What was I doing? I was still doing like OnlyFans. Oh yeah.
I know this is a story. Go on.
I'm like on the edge of my seat right now.
I was commissioned to make a video with a male, which I'd never done before.
Right.
And I was like, oh, God, I don't really want to get involved with anybody. And
Was that going to be the full sex video? Is that what you mean by that?
well, kind of, not
Okay.
really, but just a bit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh well, and I thought, well, Mike could do with the money anyway. So that's how it really came about. I was like, how do you fancy making a bit of money?
Oh, okay. So you replaced the male with Mike.
Oh yeah, no, there was no other male available anyway.
Oh.
I was somebody wanted me to see me with a man
Ah, so you chose
on there.
Mike. Oh, I
And they
love
were,
this.
yeah.
What a great first date. I
was
love
like,
it.
so I was like, right, I'll share the money with you and blah blah blah, and then we just sort of went from there really, and now we're together, and yeah. So then I ended up selling my house down there and moving in with him for a bit in Cheadle, and like obviously because he still has Max's kids on the weekends as well, which gives their dad a breakdown, and he's got his own 2 daughters as well. So
Oh, I love what a
there's like
blended family. I love that. And
got a full house now.
yeah, I didn't
I mean,
realise. I thought Mike and Maxine had the kids together. So
no.
that, and how lovely that he still has the kids though, and they've got that stability from obviously their late mum's partner that they called their stepdad, and they can still call him their stepdad. And obviously, I bet you were sort of more like an auntie figure, but now you stepped into a bit of the sort of stepmom role, right?
They called me the horse.
I thought you said whore.
Because
Horse.
I used to just turn up and they'd like ride on my back and
Oh,
stuff. around my house. So, yeah, I'm just Jess or Jeff or it doesn't whatever. So, yeah, it's worked out well in that way, you know. Even though I'm working away quite a lot, I always come home and I get to see them on a Sunday. So I'll try and like cook them a roast dinner or whatever. Or if I have a weekend off, I get to spend the whole weekend with them and stuff. So, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we make jokes, don't we? I think me and Jess, like, out of our friendship group, are the only ones who don't have like children in that girl group. And then literally it went from Jess having no children to like a tribe of 6 and
Yeah,
like 2
well,
cats and
5 and the 2 cats.
and
And I'm like,
cats.
oh, look,
And then
but I love it.
the kids have got their friends round, and she turns round, there's some more. And it's like,
I know. I was like, oh my God, there was like 7 at one point coming round every week.
And do you,
But I know, I love it.
and do you feel like now you're in that sort of space, like that is where you're meant to be? Do you feel like that Maxine's blessing has put you there, and all the things that's gone on in your life, and all the sort of trauma with your dad and your childhood and all that kind of stuff, and all the bits that have gone on in your stripping career, when all that came together, did you feel like this is exactly where I need to be?
Yeah. I just feel like this is me now, you know. I'm a lot more settled and happier than I've ever really been, and comfortable and relaxed.
no, you can
No, and
definitely
like,
see
because
that.
I'm with Mike, and he knows me inside and out. Anyway, he knew me like before he knew me as a person before we got together. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like in my line of work as well, a lot of guys will want to get involved with me because they like the idea of me, but they don't actually look at me as a human being.
Don't know you.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And when they actually get to know that I'm a normal person with feelings and stuff, they're like, "Oh," and they
The
don't really know what
attraction
to do with
goes
it.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah, and no, not that, but they just start trying to be controlling with me and stuff,
Ah, okay.
and I often attract, like, abusers, and I
Right.
have in the past a lot of times. It's probably my line of work really, but it's what it is.
No, but I
So
think
I'm grateful to be with someone that knew me before and loves me for who I am.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, he is great, and I think people love like these neat kind of love stories, but life is messy. We do go through
Oh, yeah, of
things,
course.
and like I remember my mum seeing you at Kate Long's wedding, and she was like, I can't believe how happy Jess looks. Like she's just
Oh,
so much more like
Oh,
old Jess again, and she's like they're perfect together, and I remember that still to this day because I wasn't drinking
yeah.
like the rest of us. And like, but were you ever also scared of like judgment? I mean, obviously, I never
Oh,
judged as a
fuck
friend,
no.
but
Loads of
like
people would
trying
judge
to
me for it. They're like,
explain
"Oh."
yourself,
yeah.
yeah,
So, like, the guy that I was dating before Mike went around saying that, like, spreading loads of lies, saying I was sleeping with him behind Maxine's
oh
back and all
Mm,
god,
stuff like that. So obviously it's a small town I used to live, so people will have jumped on that anyway.
yeah.
But I don't really care what anyone else thinks, to be fair.
no,
I don't I
and you
couldn't give a flying
shouldn't.
fuck.
No,
And if they want to talk about that, like, get a life, get something else
yeah.
to talk about. Do you know
I
what I mean?
I think
Get
that's
a hobby.
exactly it. And I think it was so powerful what you were saying before when you were talking about how Mike knows you, inside and out, and the bond that you've got through Maxine and through the sort of generosity that you gave to him and her kids when she was obviously suffering and going through chemo and all that kind of stuff also showed him what an amazing human being you
Yeah,
are. So, you're thinking, oh, he loves me for who I am and flaws and this, that, and the other. But actually, you showed him what an amazing person you are. And that's what made him fall in love with you. Do you know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? You
But you
know?
see me with your dick as well.
Take the compliment,
But
Jess. Take the
he
compliment.
thank you. He is the male version of me, and I think that's why it's like Maxine chose us, to be fair.
mm.
Like,
Oh,
because we're so similar, I think she loved us both. She used to always say stuff like, "Oh, I'm sick of yous," because she'd go on one, like, she had borderline personality disorder, so when she'd start going off on one, and I'd be like, "Shut up, fucking, sort your life out," and he'd agree with me, and she'd be like, "Ah, ah." Like, it's the same. I'm sick of yes. But then at the same time, she loved it because I don't know. She just chose us, I think.
No,
it's
Um,
just, it's mad, isn't it? Like how these situations in life bring you to that spot. And like, what a great woman Maxine was as well to obviously say to you both, go for it. You have my blessing. And I bet that's one thing that you're able
well, no,
to.
she tried to force it. To be fair, that's not what I wanted. I didn't want it at that
But
time,
you
and
know,
neither did Mike.
obviously when you were saying that obviously people judged and like Lucy was saying about explaining yourself, I bet when you got to
Oh,
that
people have said
part,
all sorts.
yeah, when you said that she gave a blessing though, I bet it was a massive like middle finger up to these people who just thought that you were this person that swooped in. I bet it was so satisfying to say actually, fuck all.
It is
X,
what
Y.
she wanted. She always got her own way in the end, anyway. Bless her. But yeah, no. Do you know what? Nobody's actually said anything to my face, so
Oh,
waiting for that.
Mm.
But that's just what people have been saying about behind my back and stuff like that. But
You're always gonna get them though, aren't you?
yeah,
But
I don't really care anyway.
yeah,
It's
as
not
long
going to
as you're
concern me
happy,
anymore.
like you
yeah,
I'm
say,
very
you've got
happy,
nothing to
and they
hide, as
don't
my mum always
understand.
yeah,
says.
yeah,
You've got
exactly.
nothing to hide, like
No,
And I
you've got
think the
nothing.
older you get, the more the less you do give a fuck. And I think it's so refreshing to think about what we're like in our 20s and have that fear of what people are going to think, and it does stunt you. You've got the confidence when you're like in your early 20s, I think, and then you move through to sort of mid 20s, early 30s, and you're a little bit like, ah, shit, I'm a transition in between both. And then you get like sort of in your sort of 30s a little bit later on, and you think, God, this is where I need to stay in terms of I don't care what anyone thinks of me right now. Do you know what I mean? And it's so
yeah,
nice.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know exactly that. Exactly that. To be fair,
Mm. And
but
how do
yeah,
you
no,
find that now? Because obviously you've moved down to Wales, haven't you?
yeah.
You still travel for work. You're bringing up, a whole family at the same time. How do you hold all these worlds together?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say like obviously because a lot of weekends I'm away up there, aren't I, for like the whole weekend. So I do miss the kids quite often, but like I'll at least have one weekend off a month anyway, so I'll spend it with them and I see them on a Sunday anyway when I'll get back. So I like it. I like having them here and I like teaching them things, like cooking and taking them for walks and stuff like that really, because I always like when I was younger, I used to spend a lot of time on my auntie's farm, my great auntie's farm, where I learned quite a lot of stuff about animals and plants and what you can eat and stuff like weird, like not weird stuff, but like Mike finds it weird because he's a city boy. So he's like, "How do you know what that is? Like, why are you eating that?" And I'm like, "Oh, you can eat these, stuff that you pick and things."
You've always been outdoorsy
Um,
though, haven't you? You've always been like the
yeah, I love
wilder,
it.
kind of like more tomboy one. Like you're off
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
even like back in the day.
Orienteering.
So I like just to take them out and because I think kids nowadays they like to sit in and fester on their iPads all the time and
Yeah.
stuff like that, don't they? So when I obviously if I get time and I'm about, I'll always like take them down to the beach and stuff like that. And I'm
Oh,
like, come on, let's go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that.
you girl after my heart, Jess. I tell you, like I've got a 3-year-old, and I am outside with her as much as I can be. Like I'm
Mm.
exactly the same as that, and I just think fresh air just does so much for you, and like just being
Ah,
away out of the house, like I totally
yeah.
agree. And like going to the beach and going for walks and just being outside, I just love. So I am definitely doing that with my daughter and making sure she gets outside, and she loves it. Like she'll be at nursery and like the nursery people will just be like, "Oh, she wanted to go outside today, but it was like raining, so we had to kind of wait till it's a bit dry," and she just stands by the door and she wants to be outside, and I'm like, "Yeah, you go, girl. We brought you
Yeah,
up
no,
right."
that's good.
No, and then you've also like swiftly moving in as well, because obviously we talk about hormones a
Hmm.
lot in this. Not only are you traveling, obviously the family, you've been doing literally a cottage up from the outside in, not even having a toilet half the time. You also live with endometriosis as well, don't you? Which obviously impacts your body and your
Oh
energy
yeah.
levels, and you've got not only a physically demanding job, you've also
Yeah.
got a physically demanding house.
Yeah,
Do
it's ridiculous
you know what I
sometimes.
mean?
So annoying. So I got, oh my gosh. So I was going to the hospital for like, it took 7 years to get diagnosed.
Wow.
7.
Yeah.
Because the doctor, the gyno guy was like, oh yeah, you've just got IBS. I was like, yeah, I know, but there's something else wrong, I think. And he was like, no, you like basically you're just being a pussy, go and fucking take ibuprofen. Anyway, so the gyno got changed to a woman, this other woman. And she was like, "Oh, I think you might have endometriosis." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay." This was 2017, I think, by this point, after spending like years in agony. And then she goes, "The only way we can tell is by doing a laparoscopy," I
Hmm.
think it's called, where they actually have to go, like, open you up and look
Yeah.
in.
Hmm.
So I was like, "I'll take it." And then obviously she was like, "Oh, yeah, you've got it. We've scraped it all out and burned it off or whatever. And we've put it, so now I have to have a marina coil,
Hmm.
which is the hormone-based one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that releases hormones every month so that I don't have a period ever, which means obviously then that reduces the amount of
Well, like the hormones, isn't it,
whatever
going
it's
on? What's
no,
going to scarring?
the shit that builds up inside your body off it. So it's like your womb lining like builds outside of your womb, doesn't it? And it fuses your organs together and stuff and like fills your body full of shit. So yeah, so it stops that. Or like so it's been okay. Like well, I say it's been okay. It flares up and now and again.
Mm.
And I'll become like bloated, like massively bloated, and like the pain sometimes after sex is a joke.
Mm.
Really?
Especially, but like sometimes it does it for no reason a lot of times sometimes. So I just like obviously when I'm at work and I'm like, oh, you just have to kind of power through really, because like
Mm.
it's not like I don't get sick pay or anything like that. My boss is like,
No.
oh, you're not allowed to go home yet. So I'm like, fuck.
Ugh.
That's a lot to contend with, though, isn't it? Like, as a woman to be diagnosed finally, you're obviously in a lot of pain. It flares up. Obviously, every month, I assume there's risk that you're going to be in agony. And obviously, you're in a job, like you said, that they don't really understand. That must be frustrating at times, for sure.
Yeah, I've been sacked from a lot of clubs to be fair. Um, Just
because
because,
You
like,
kicking off,
I
or
kind of want
just
to go
like
back. I want to go home, like, they won't let me, and I'm like, "Fuck you,
yeah, I'm
I'm
going.
leaving."
Yeah.
You know, like, a lot of time, like, the staff and the managers in these kind of places, they aren't very nice to the girls. Like, they
Yeah.
don't treat us well. I think it might be jealousy sometimes,
Mm,
like, you know, because of the money we make up. I don't fucking know.
yeah.
But the like, a lot of them are on a power trip and stuff, and I've had problems in the past in a lot of places.
Well, you need
Um,
to carry on saying fuck you because you've got to look after your body. You've got to look after
yeah.
yourself. That's the main thing for sure. And if they don't want you because you're in pain, then move on to a club that does, because clearly after however many years, you are still so suited to the stripping game and they're lucky to have you. So carry on saying fuck you if you need to leave the club.
yeah, well, I always do.
And
Yeah.
we will be dedicating a full episode actually to endometriosis. Somebody else say it for me. I can't say it.
Even I can say it, I
And
think. Endometriosis. I can never
thank
say
you.
anything.
Honestly, we're a nightmare. We are going to be doing a full episode. We have got we've got a guest lined up for that. But thank you for touching upon it,
Oh, I'm
Jess.
glad, because a lot of people don't really know what it is or know anything about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you guys are doing that. It raises awareness, doesn't it?
yeah,
yeah,
for
we're
Because it's
sure.
learning
a
so much.
debilitating condition. Like, it is very painful.
Yeah. And I think as we're winding down to the end of your very interesting episode, Jess, before obviously we do completely wrap up, if you could get people to understand one thing about stripping, then what would you want it to be?
Just that we're just normal people. You know, we're not like demons or whores. Like, a lot of people just naturally assume that I'm going to be an easy or a whore or whatever, and we're not. Actually, it's probably the opposite, because we're so sick of seeing men every fucking weekend that we're actually not interested outside of it.
Yeah. Get a lot of like successful businesswomen though, don't you? Who obviously in this industry. I mean, I won't name some names because some of them, do you know what I mean? Well, Bonnie Blue, for example, like she's definitely different things going on in her life. But do you know what I mean? But there
Yeah.
is very powerful women who, are making a lot of money. And some people can
Yeah,
say,
I
is
mean,
it
the sex
because
industries, you can do well from it. I mean, whether it be stripping or online work or
Mm,
porn or,
Mm,
well, whatever. I mean, you know, girls do well and girls don't. And I think there's more that fail than do well, to be fair, because it is not an easy industry to be in, any of it. And I think that's very misunderstood. Like, you see all these posts on Instagram saying, "Oh yeah, I'm desperate for money. I might just go and be a stripper for a few nights." Like, you'd leave the club crying with no money.
yeah.
yeah,
Love.
Well,
Do
yeah,
you
you
know what I
watch all these
mean?
programs, don't you? I mean, I'm obsessed with stuff like that. When like
yeah.
Stacey Dooley, when they go behind the scenes and
Yes.
stuff. And I always said I wanted to do it with Jess, but still never managed to do it yet.
Oh, I'll meet you one
Like,
time. I'll take you to work with me one night.
yeah, and
I will
do the
go jump
behind
on
the
that as well,
scenes.
please. We'll do a
Yeah.
bonus episode and come and film at the club. I would love to go back again after all these years.
Turn
You
up with
still
some
get
like
harassed
body
by all
armor
the
on.
customers so bad.
We'll protect you, Jess. Don't worry. There's no spiking when we're there.
But like, and one thing I do want to touch on, because obviously you said about it with like the modeling stuff as well, though. Like you say, people think it's an easy ride, don't they? But what was one of the hardest things? Because I know you said you were going to go into it with like
Oh,
people just think it's easy, take a picture, modeling,
Mm,
but it's not.
that industry is poisonous as fuck. I can't, like, so I did well with it, you know.
Mm.
I was in 3 times. The photographer for, however, used to, so I'd shoot with him, and then he'd be like, "If you don't send me nudes, I'm not going to publish your pictures and stuff."
so bribery,
Stuff like that,
basically.
right? Well, that wasn't the worst. Well, for me, that was. But for some of the other younger models, like the newer ones or whatever, they said that he raped them and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
I can fully believe it as well, because he was a pure creep. He's been run out of the UK anyway. But there was a whole Me Too movement about him,
Mm.
this particular guy.
Well,
So,
such a brand name that he obviously was just like saying I'm from and expecting everyone to sort of bow down, you know?
yeah.
What's control, isn't it? You just
Yeah.
used
So
control.
he was, well, yeah, like, you know, it's like, "Oh, I'm not going to publish pictures unless you send me
Yeah.
nudes." And I was like, "What the fuck, man?" Anyway, he he had diabetes and he used to have to eat loads of food on his shoe, and he didn't have like the.
Sorry, every time Jess laughs, I just know it's going to
He didn't have the Deliveroo app on his phone, did he? So I was like, oh, well, I might not order you food. Because we'd have to shoot for like 12 hours and he wouldn't let us have anything to eat. And he used to sit there and scramble his food. He's like, oh, you're too fat, you're not having it. He'd be
Oh
like,
my
you're too fat, you're
God.
not having this food. That's how awful it was. Like, and then there was other shoots that I did. I did one shoot where I got actually spiked and date raped.
Wow.
That was when I was very young as well. Luckily I can't remember it, obviously, but I know it happened. What else? Just like loads of really, really bad poisonous stuff, and it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the money. The money wasn't even as good as dancing. At least when you're dancing, you can hit the guys or whatever. Do you know what I mean? If you start molesting, you're allowed to defend yourself, and
you just don't
you
think
don't have to.
And there's more people
that.
around, I suppose, as well when you
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah,
You got the
you're
girls
safer,
there,
you're
you
a lot
got your boss
safer.
there,
Yeah.
you got all these
You've got your
things.
doorman.
Yeah.
You know.
You just don't think a photo shoot would turn sinister, and modeling is such a big pull for a lot of people, males, females, and
Yeah.
to be experiencing that from professionals. And obviously this is just a small selective people. The modeling industry in general is going to have all the great bits about it as well, like every industry.
I had some lovely times. I went to some great things. Like I went abroad. I did this luxury car tour with Playboy Slovakia. We went from like Valencia to Monaco with all these luxury cars and things, and it was so much fun. I had the best time. And then, well, I can't think offhand, but it has given me so many really good opportunities to do some really cool stuff. Don't get me wrong there, but there has been those little things that have been really bad as well. And the corruption there, like think about the Weinstein situation in Hollywood.
Yeah, I was thinking that before when you were on about
The
that
abuse of
bloke.
power in that industry is a joke, and it's disgusting. Which and I'm not one to run with the flow really with that.
Yeah.
So I kind of binned it off.
Well, I think it's incredible that you've come out the other side from these experiences, and that you're able to talk to us about it and still have that kind of positive spin on it. And even though you've been
fuck around, find out, innit?
But it's been amazing, and I think you're an inspiration to kind of everything you've been through, and to be here talking about it, still absolutely slaying the stripping despite everything that's gone on, and lifting the lid on an industry that can be sinister at times. And what you've talked to us about is just incredible. So it's been amazing. And I think to end our episode, like we always do with all of our guests, you've shared a bloody awesome story. But now, who is Jess becoming?
I'm like a home girl. Like I love staying at home now. Like so when I go to work now on a Thursday, I hate it. I like being at home. I like my comforts. I love being with Mike. I like cooking nice food. I'm settled.
Yeah, I was just saying that she's settling down.
I am.
Settling
I'm
down by the
finally
beach.
settled and I'm sorted. I'm not chasing paper anymore. I'm doing my work and I'm coming back but I think obviously over the next year or two, I'm going to look into a career change of something else that's a bit closer to home, and that'll be the end of my stripper days, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
look forward to it, even though we've been talking about it for many years.
Well, this is a new news then. I was like, oh my God, we've got a revelation. But
No, you've touched on it, haven't you? Like, it's like anything, like Jess has explained through a story. You go through moments like, can I carry on doing this?
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah. Well, then I spent all my dough on the house, so I need to like get more.
Well, no, I think the conversation, that we've had today, it just reminds us there's no structure to life. There's no tick list for living a good life. And obviously family can be chosen and love can grow as well. And and anything you do in life doesn't define you either. I think it just helps you with that strength.
Yeah. You've got to do what's right for you. You've got to be happy.
I was just going to say that. I just did what was right for me. And, it might not be right for everybody else, but it's not their life, is it? It's mine.
Exactly. And it's a fucking short life, isn't it? We're all sat here at 38 and I'm thinking, I remembered I was 18. Where the fuck, where's all that gone? Do you know what I mean? So it's a short life. Got to live
still
it.
37. I'm taking that year. You never know what can happen in a year.
No, you're true. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jess. We really appreciate you coming on and speaking to us. And I think people are going to be blown away by your story. And yet we're so appreciative that you've come on to Becoming Lucy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
No, pleasure. And like I say, thank you for your honesty, your courage. I know we spoke like, I've never done a podcast. Can I come on? Like,
I know, I was scared. I was like,
but obviously you spoke with a lot of love, and I just want to thank you, and also thank you for being such a great friend to me as well. You've always shown up.
And thank you as well. You're a legend. You know it.
Oh, bless you.
Love
So,
this.
We need to catch up soon anyway.
Yes, we do. We do.
You're
Definitely.
going to come and stay with me in Wales.
Yes, I know. And Hannah, you might have to get involved because I want Jess to teach me some pole dancing.
Yeah.
I realise I can dance if I hold on
shit,
to a pole.
no, I haven't got my pole up.
Yeah,
well, don't worry, we're coming to the strip club, baby. I'll see if I can change my elephant moves into something a bit more demure.
Just a bit of polish, it'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll go viral anyway, no matter what. Even for comedy value. But no. But no, thank you so much. And on that, I'm going to say, obviously, goodbye from myself.
Goodbye from me.
And then goodbye from
See you
Jess.
later.
And yeah, don't forget, if you've enjoyed this episode, give us a like and subscribe to our channel, and it gets you to all the other episodes that you've either missed onto the next one next week. So yeah, thank you very much, and see you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.